Okay, so hi, I'm Mary, and for my 20 Time project, I decided to research the effect that limiting added sugar could have on one's health. So I was inspired to research this topic because in the 2016 U.S. Dietary Guidelines, Americans were urged to limit the amounts of added sugar they consume regularly. And knowing that I have a family history of diabetes, I thought that this subject was really relevant to me. So I knew that I probably ate too much added sugar in my diet, but I didn't know how much was a healthy amount of added sugar. So according to the U.S. American Heart Association, the average woman should eat up to 25 grams of added sugar a day. Now, when I talk about added sugar, I'm not talking about the sugars in fruits and vegetables because those naturally occur. I'm talking about the sugar in foods like cake, boba, and chocolate because those foods wouldn't be sweet unless they add something like corn syrups or white sugar to them. So for my 20 Time project, I decided that I wanted to go 10 weeks following the 25 grams of added sugar a day diet. So at the beginning of those 10 weeks, it was pretty hard because I ate a lot more added sugar than I expected. For example, there was this bread that I ate which had 5 grams of added sugar per slice. So if I ate a sandwich for lunch, and that's a food that isn't even sweet, that'd be like 40% of my added sugar intake, and that was really alarming to me. And also, it was pretty hard to figure out which foods had natural sugars and which ones were more added sugars because on a nutrition label, there's a category called sugar, but it doesn't say which ones have how many grams of corn syrup are in it or how many grams of cane sugar are in it. So I had to figure some things out on my own. And I found that I would eat much more foods I brought from home and much more unprocessed foods. And also, another really dramatic change which I noticed in my diet was I drink boba pretty much every other day. So when I cut something which I used to eat so regularly out of my diet, I really felt it. It's pretty hard. So despite these struggles in the beginning, I became more motivated to follow through with this project because I started noticing some actual changes in my life. For example, I'd wake up in the morning and I felt like I had more energy. And when I went out and when I went running, I'd feel like I could run farther and faster and I still felt more like I had more energy left over. And then about 2 weeks in, I noticed that I could take a pretty significant amount of time off my mile time, so that was a pretty good change to see that this was actually paying off. And and also one thing that I really noticed was that when I paid attention to one aspect of my health, I'd feel more motivated to pay attention to other parts, like I should exercise more, I should also try to get better night of sleep. So, and also you could see how your health is really interconnected, and that if you change one thing, it doesn't affect one part of it alone, it usually affects other aspects too. So honestly, during the 10 weeks, I did drink boba a few times, but what I learned is even though you do slip up, it's more important to pay attention on getting back on track than it is to getting hung up over one little mistake. Because when you think about health overall, it's more important to try to go big picture than it is to get hung up on the little things. So now that those 10 weeks are up, I think I'll try to implement this change in my life going forward. Because knowing that I do have a history of diabetes in my family, limiting the amounts of added sugar I eat could really impact my health. And 25 grams of sugar is a pretty reasonable amount. It just means that you have to really keep track of the portions of sugar you eat, basically. And I learned a lot about what it means to change old habits and implement new, better ones. So overall, although my 20 Time project didn't go completely smoothly and I did slip up and make a few mistakes, I learned that it's more important to pay attention to the big picture and going back on track. Thank you.